Zion died 3 years ago today, and I'm holding on by a thread.
The way she came out with it, it felt very designed to stop me in my tracks.
Is there anything that she can proactively do to protect herself?
I think you have to decide what you want, what you're creating, and who you're gonna be.
Okay, Bose, if you don't buy into Amanda's manifestation skills, what do you think she's great at?
Scamming.
Ooh.
And so he arrested me.
Okay. What about the cult situation?
Okay, so...
Welcome back to Celebrity News Addict. Today, we're diving into all the latest news surrounding the ongoing chaotic feud between Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars Dorit Kemsley and her latest rival, Amanda Frances. Only a few episodes into this season, and Amanda is already making waves and making enemies with rumours of criminal activity and religious cults on the tip of everyone's tongue. So, in this video, we'll be getting into it all, including a deep dive into Amanda Frances and her shady past, DUI, alleged financial scams, and cult history, the ongoing feud between Amanda and Dorit, how it started and where they are now, how much money Amanda really makes with her Money Queen business, and why Dorit was named the most difficult talent on Bravo by producers. Plus, we'll be getting into rumours that Amanda is already on the outs with Bravo and has been fired from the show in the middle of her first season. From cults to criminal charges, DUIs to digging dirt and difficult talent, we've got a lot to cover. So let's get straight into it. Let's kick things off with a bit of a background on Amanda Frances. Who actually is she? And how did she manage to manifest her way onto RHOBH? So, according to her website, amandafrances.com, Amanda, now aged 41, was born in 1985 and raised in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Her website describes her as a, quote, world-renowned thought leader on financial empowerment for women, claiming she empowers women to design lives and businesses they're wildly obsessed with by combining her background in ministry and mental health counseling with practical advice and deep knowledge of spiritual and energetic principles. In terms of her accolades, her website states that Amanda has written for Forbes, Business Insider, Glamour, and Success magazine, and her business, Amanda Frances Inc., is, quote, an 8-figure global brand serving clients and students in 196 countries. According to a report shared by Reality Blurb, Amanda is making over $400,000 per month from her Money Queen courses, charging between $999 to $47,000 for the popular digital courses. The report reveals that Amanda's cheapest course, named Best Year Ever, costs $999 and offers customers 8 days worth of content that she claims will set them up for their best year. On day one of this course, Amanda instructs women to, quote, release the past, followed up by 7 days of content on taking inventory, creating vibes, building confidence, getting clarity, and developing a vision. The course also comes with affirmations, journal prompts, and homework. Reality Shrine reports that the courses continue to go up in price, with a $2,999 course called the Money Mentality Makeover, which offers modules on peer support, energy, and frequency training, and includes a complete core system to heal your relationship with money. While the most expensive is the Mastermind course, which costs $47,000. This program features a VIP day with Amanda, a one-on-one call with her each month, a VIP dinner each quarter, and being included in a group chat and monthly group calls. Plus, she offers a monthly membership where, for $179.99 per month, you will receive 4 audio drops per week from Amanda, in which she'll be heard telling the truth, dropping the wisdom, and reminding you who you get to be. When it comes to her personal life, Amanda is engaged to her longtime partner, Eddie Sivaslavsky. Speaking on her relationship in an interview with Wedding Forward in February 2025, Amanda stated that her and Eddie met when he chased her down the street in West Hollywood and asked to buy her a drink. At the time, Eddie had been separated from his previous wife for about 4 months, and Amanda felt he wasn't ready for a relationship. So they dated for a couple of months and then took some time apart before reuniting in the middle of COVID. When they came back together, things moved quickly, as Amanda says they were both ready and open to love. Eddie came to the relationship with 2 children from his previous marriage, Liam, aged 9, and Shoshana, aged 7, who the pair claim quickly took to Amanda to form their family unit, as she raises them both as her own. Things then moved fast for the pair as they moved in together in 2021 before getting pregnant for the first time in 2022 with Kanan Cash and Zion Chase, who she sadly lost after he passed away 5 days after being born 11 weeks premature. The pair bravely got pregnant again in 2023 with their daughter Delilah Grace. Eddie and Amanda were engaged in 2024 when Eddie surprised her with a grand proposal in their home. According to Amanda's Instagram, Eddie told Amanda that they were going to a brunch with his business partner, so Amanda got dressed up and ready to go, and they went to a restaurant for what she referred to as an average meal, while people were decorating her home for the surprise proposal. When they returned home, they had a photographer and saxophone player waiting, and Eddie proposed in front of their 4 children. According to Amanda, Eddie had previously planned other proposals, including one involving hot air balloons, which had to be postponed when Amanda went into early labour in 2023, and another where he had aimed to take Amanda to her favourite restaurant, which also had to be rearranged due to the Malibu wildfires. So, how did Amanda end up on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Well, she claims she manifested it, of course. In an interview with Access Hollywood on January 29th, Amanda revealed that in 2014 she had filmed a video as part of her holiday bundle course where she declared that she would one day be on a reality TV show. And just like that, 11 years later, her wishes came true. However, in reality, Amanda's entry to the franchise is most likely linked to the fact that she bought Kyle Richards' home in Bel Air back in 2017. According to Bravo, Kyle was the only person Amanda knew or knew about when she headed into filming. When interviewed about how she prepared for the show, Amanda said that she didn't have a strategy when she joined the franchise. Having never watched The Housewives, she states that she came in blind, without knowing anything about the other women and wanting to form her own opinion on everyone. However, she did admit that after signing up for the show, she watched one episode with her husband, Season 10, Episode 1, which was Sutton's debut, to see what she was getting herself into. But after watching it, Amanda decided she would go in and see for herself, rather than entering with preconceived notions about the women and their current storylines. Let's take a look.
We were talking off camera that you didn't watch Beverly Hills before you went on. You didn't watch any Housewives.
I watched one episode.
So now that you filmed your first season, you're watching it back. What do you think is the biggest surprise that you have found?
I've never had the experience of coming into a group of friends or a group of women and not finding my footing, not finding my people, having a hard time being heard and being then misheard and misunderstood and misconstrued. That's never been my experience. So my intention, without knowing storylines, without knowing who these people have been on the show before, my intention was just to honestly get to know everyone. So everyone had a clean slate and a fresh start. I knew virtually nothing besides what I had seen of Kyle on Instagram, only because I followed Kyle because I bought her house.
Right.
So she was the only one. So I knew like some of her tabloid nonsense, but I didn't even know anything about her on the show. I didn't know who anyone was at all. And I thought that way I would just make my own, because you start hearing from people, oh, so-and-so's this way, so-and-so's that way, people who have watched the show. I was like, I don't need to know any of that. Let me just get to know them. That was my plan.
As she mentioned in this interview, since joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Amanda has received a very mixed reception from the other wives and fans of the show, mostly stemming from her shady past and over-the-top discussions surrounding her business and finances, which felt performative and made the women skeptical of Amanda's authenticity. The first sign of this came in a scene filmed with Bose, Dorit, and Amanda, where Bose asked Amanda if she had any financial advice for Dorit while going through her divorce. After clarifying that she is not a licensed financial advisor, Amanda said, "I think you have to decide what you want, what you're creating, and who you're going to be," adding, "I know that's like a big overarching question, but who do you want to be as a provider? Who do you want to be as a woman who earns? Who are you going to be no matter what he does?" Business savvy Bose was not impressed by Amanda's advice, stating in her confessional, "What is this frou-frou mess we're talking about? I was looking for 1 + 1 = 2. Intentions? What kind of provider does she want to be? What does that even mean? This is not financial advice. The math ain't mathing. Then, on January 22nd's episode of Watch What Happens Live, Bose threw a lot more shade on Amanda, accusing her of scamming and claiming the math ain't mathing about her constantly one-upping the other women and name-dropping designers.
Okay, Bose, if you don't buy into Amanda's manifestation skills, what do you think she's great at?
Scamming.
Ooh. Amanda's constant need to one-up the ladies and name-drop designers.
Oh, sis. I don't even know how to answer that, because the maths, and it doesn't math at the same time.
Amanda taking a nearly half-hour business call in the car with Rachel and Erica.
Well, it maths because that's her.
Many of the other women, including Erica, Sutton, and new cast member Rachel Zoe, can also be seen getting irritated by Amanda's constant discussions about money and her business.
It was my money, I should be clear, when I bought it. And we have renovated together, but I did buy it. Yeah. Sorry.
Why? Why would you share that? I just don't think it's necessary. That doesn't, add value to the conversation. You know?
What? When I woke up, I saw on my text message previews, and I saw one saying something about the website, and I thought you were telling me the website was done. And so I said to my friend Erica, oh, my website's done. And I had my laptop with me, and then I think I dreamed that whole thing.
Girl, don't stunt in front of us. We all have business calls. I don't want to hear your quite honestly. I'm not on a business trip. Save that for your room. We're trying to relax out here. I don't care.
Commenting on this, in her interview with Access Hollywood, Amanda seemingly sincerely stated that she had no idea she was being perceived as over the top about money, stating that in her friend group they celebrate each other's wins and brag on each other all the time. Let's take a look.
Okay, so you weren't trying to flaunt, this is what
No.
I have, or maybe
But also,
overcompensating
do you know
a
what-
little bit.
No. Do you know what I think is also the biggest misunderstanding? In my life, in my world, we are all extremely proud of ourselves and of each other. And we brag on ourselves and on each other kind of continually. And we're proud of each other with what we can buy and spend and afford and where we've gotten to of life. And there's this overall overarching sense of gratitude. So I think if I say I spent $10,000 on crystals and I'm reflecting on, I bought my first multi-million-dollar home in West Hollywood and I went to the crystal store and I bought all the crystals and I put them, I'm reflecting on that as yeah, go girl, good job spending $10,000 on crystals. That's how anyone who knows me would have taken it.
Got it.
And in an interview with Us Weekly on January 29th, Amanda addressed this once again, saying, quote, "What I'm doing professionally is not new at all. I don't know why the cast are pretending they can't wrap their head around it. Some people may be confused, some are absolutely not paying attention when I talk about it, and some people are pretending." Anyway, it isn't just the other housewives that have been rubbed the wrong way by Amanda Francis. Fans of the show are also speaking out on Amanda's behaviour and allegedly shady business dealings too, especially on Reddit. In one thread titled, "Amanda Francis is deeply deranged, toxic, and dangerous," created on February 1st, a user wrote, "As someone who has significant experience in this, I can genuinely say Amanda is a dangerous individual. There are many reasons why I've observed this, the main being how she used her darkest trauma as a weapon. This is someone who is deeply deranged and manipulative. On top of that, proceeded to victimize herself, have nightmares, say she couldn't sleep all night. She then created lies and gaslit Dorit intensely. It concluded, she can act very well. This all also checks out with her scammer business she runs. She scares me, personally." This launched a huge discussion in the comments, with the most upvoted comment stating, "She gives me Jen Shah scammer vibes. I wouldn't be shocked if she got indicted for something like fraud." Another user responded to this with, "For sure, when Bose asked her to provide advice for Dorit and she has nothing practical to say about money, she is definitely giving scammy MLM boss babe vibes. Not strictly illegal, but scummy and gross." Off the back of this, yet another user wrote, "She manifested money by selling trainings about how to manifest money. There is no actual basis or bona fides to her wealth. It's like a scam perpetual motion machine down the line." Edit to add, here is a quote from a blog post she wrote. "Lots of people like to ask me what mentors I had, what business books I read, who did I follow? I have never read a single business book or taken a business course. I don't listen to podcasts. I simply chose, and continue to choose, to learn how to master my own wealth and destiny, and then teach other women to do the same. This thread has over 300 comments, but the last one I'd like to read in response to the comment above is, quote, "My wife was saying that she is a prosperity doctrine believer, so she is wealthy because she's rewarded by God." Despite the public's response, Amanda has been avidly defending her business. In an interview with Decider on January 23rd, she was asked how she felt about the women and viewers being judgmental towards her. Amanda responded, "I'm just flabbergasted. I have a 15-year career of creating and selling digital courses, online training programs on various things, and people loving their results. On every single sales page, there are hundreds of testimonials. I did a post this morning because I'm working on a new project, and I wanted to kind of crowdsource some feedback from my audience on what is the most important lesson you've learned from me. There are hundreds of comments from people saying, 'This course changed my life. This teaching changed my life. This part of your book changed my life.' She continued, 'I teach on manifestation and money mindset. I apply spiritual and energetic principles to money-owned business, and people love it. Women love it. It's been an amazing career. We have 21,000 students. The fact that we can't handle a woman being successful. I'm younger, it's an online business, it has spiritual and energetic components. People sometimes just can't handle what's not normal and what's not inside the box. But I'm proud to be outside the box. I'm proud that I've made a way for so many women who also are outside the box. And I don't want to fit in anyone's damn box.' What do you guys think of this? Has Amanda legitimately manifested her goals, becoming the self-made money queen she claims to be? Or is she profiting off the back of vulnerable people in an MLM-style scam, as Bose alleges? Let me know what you think in the comments. Anyway, a scam MLM isn't the only scandal that Amanda has been tied to since joining RHOBH, as, after making enemies with Dorit early on in the season, lots more information has been revealed about Amanda's shockingly shady past. Let's get into it. Starting with a recap of the feud that ignited Dorit's mission for revenge. So, on episode 6, which aired on January 22nd, we saw Amanda speaking with her fiancé Eddie about the loss of her son 3 years ago. She explained that her youngest son Kanan was born a twin, but after 5 days in the NICU, his brother Zion died in Amanda's arms the first time she got to hold him. In her heartbreaking story, Amanda shared that the anniversary of his death is always a really hard time for her family, since they're celebrating Kanan's birthday, then mourning the loss of Zion. She also revealed that the anniversary of Zion's passing was on the day of Rachel's party, but that she would go, as it would be good to be surrounded by friends. Upon arriving at the party, Amanda proceeded to make a shady comment about Dorit's new book deal, once again one-upping Dorit by stating that she simply sat down and wrote her own book, while Dorit would be hiring a ghostwriter. Many of the housewives took offense to this, leading Sutton to tell Dorit that Amanda also had a lot of opinions about how Dorit was handling her divorce with PK. According to Amanda, Dorit is talking too much, too publicly about PK and his alcoholism. So, Amanda lit the match, and Sutton provided the fuel that Dorit needed to set Rachel's dinner party on fire. Once the group sat down for dinner, Dorit took her moment to ask Amanda what her opinion was on Dorit discussing her divorce publicly. The discussion quickly descended into chaos when Amanda stated that she was, quote, holding on by a thread because it was the anniversary of Zion's passing. Everyone around the table was shocked by this, but Dorit seemed unfazed and kept going, asking Amanda why she feels she can have an opinion about Dorit since she doesn't really know her. Amanda then quickly excused herself from the table, clearly shocked that Dorit would continue with her confrontation despite Amanda's revelation. The scene ended with Amanda crying in Rachel's hallway while Kyle and Kathy rallied around her, before Kathy encouraged Dorit to go and apologise, which she did, when Amanda rejected her and asked Dorit not to touch her. So, we saw all of this play out on screen. But, since the episode aired, even more drama has played out off-screen, revealing how this all went down. Speaking on the Beverly Hills after show, Amanda revealed that she was initially confused about what Dorit was talking about, trying to understand what she was being accused of and which conversation Dorit was referring to.
It was very confusing because I'm thinking, okay, I told you this. So, like,
an appropriate response is, oh my God, I had no idea, I'm sorry, drop it. But it's like, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell she's talking about. I do remember saying, do you mean Kyle? Do you mean Kathy's? Like, I could not figure out what she was asking me.
In a separate interview, Amanda also revealed that Erica had known about Zion's passing from the beginning of the dinner party. She claimed that Erica had made a comment that Amanda's life looked so perfect from the outside and asked her to tell her something real, to which Amanda responded that it was the anniversary of her son's passing. They then spoke about it and chatted about the mugshot, which we'll get into in a second. However, in Dorit's statement, she claims that Amanda's heartbreaking reveal did take her breath away, but that it felt strategic and designed to stop her in her tracks.
Whoa. It quite literally took my breath away. Obviously, I had no idea. I remember thinking one would have never gotten into this conversation, initiated it had I known. The way she came out with it, it felt very like designed to stop me in my tracks.
Other cast members also weighed in on the drama, with Jennifer and Sutton both stating that Amanda should have given her castmates a heads up.
If it's me, I'm not coming to dinner that night, or at the very least, I'm saying to me who's inviting, that's a really hard day for me. I don't know if I can come. Okay.
I don't feel like she should have told people beforehand, but if it's such a horrific thing for her, maybe she shouldn't even have showed up to the party that night.
Meanwhile, Jeff Lewis added some extra fuel to the fire. On January 28th, a couple of days after this episode aired, Jeff Lewis spoke about Dorit on an episode of Jeff Lewis Live, his Sirius FM radio show. On an episode with Tamra Judge, Jeff referenced Alex Baskin, one of the major producers for Bravo shows like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules, stating that Alex had told Jeff he was the most difficult talent to work with, closely followed by Dorit Kemsley. Let's take a look.
You work with 32 Flavors, right?
I do.
They said that I am by far the most difficult talent that they're working with. And it used to be Dorit, by the way.
What?
Allegedly.
Whoa!
And Dorit is clearly living up to her reputation, as she has gone the extra mile to find dirt on newbie Amanda. So now it's time to get into the allegations of Amanda's cult background, DUI, and whispers that she was fired or possibly quit halfway through her first season. So, following the early breakdown of Dorit and Amanda's relationship in episode 6, in the next episode, which aired on January 29th, Dorit came armed and ready to dish the dirt on Amanda and get her revenge. In a conversation with Kyle and Bose, Dorit brought up Amanda's past cult ties, saying she'd found a blog on Amanda's website where she claimed that she had escaped from a religious cult. Let's take a look at this blog before diving into what Amanda had to say about this revelation. So, on April 1st, 2011, Amanda posted her first blog on amandafrancis.com, titled The Worst of the Worst. I won't read it here in full, but here are some of the key passages which give us some insight into who Amanda is and what really happened in her past. The blog starts, quote, "My little secret. 3 years ago yesterday, I ran away. It was quite possibly the best decision of my whole life. Why? Well, that's hard to explain. I'm always confused about how to explain the 2 years of my life between ministry training school and actual college. Sometimes I say I worked. Sometimes I say I lived on the beach. Sometimes I tell the truth. Sometimes I will try to get comfortable enough with someone to say that I was in a really controlling, really frightening situation in which I could not be myself, live my life, call home too often, talk to a myriad of people from my school or hometown, date boys, drink alcohol, hang out with people who dated or drank, visit another church, be close to people that did not commit to volunteering or dedicating their lives to my church, talk about my life to anyone who wasn't at a higher ranking than me in the little system of the church, etc. I could try to list the dynamics of the organization further, but I don't think that's the point. The point is, I was in a cult." It continues, 2 years of my life are unexplainable, barely recognizable, painful and pointless. I never know what to say or who to tell. The thing is, I know it was partly my fault. Things got crazier and crazier, and I stayed. Crazy starts to seem normal when you've been cut off from society for long enough. And when the 200 people around you think the crazy is holy, and the rest of humanity is just in sin or has an unrenewed mind and is basically just a group of unworthy outsiders, you want to stay in the group because the group is all you have. I've been studying cults for a long time, and each time I read something new, I hope that the group I was in doesn't fit the criteria. I hope this one time it doesn't add up and that I wasn't really in a cult. Each time it does. Every time. The way the leader acted, the way the followers acted in response to the leader, the insane boundaries, the isolation, it always fits. And then each time I look at myself and say, okay, there it is, Amanda. You really were in a cult. But that never makes it better. Explaining it doesn't make it better. Understanding it doesn't make it better. Nothing makes it better. Amanda wrote, I feel so helpless when I look back. I can't go back and help the people I knew there. I can't go back and help the me that is stuck there. I can't redeem the time. I spend a lot of time worrying about people who are still there. I worry about them a lot, but I can't do anything. I can't go light the church on fire. I can't shake them and say, you're good enough on your own. You don't need this. This does not impress God. You don't have to fit his mold. You don't have to be cookie cutter. Live a life you love. Follow your own damn dreams. Follow your heart. That's where God is. It concludes, so that's where I'm at on this journey. I left 3 years ago yesterday. I drove down A1A Beach Boulevard with everything I owned in my car, in the middle of the night, afraid of everything, but knowing that if I could just make it out, I would go to school, I would live my life, and I would make a difference in the world. Now I am living my life, going to school, and making a difference in the world, yet the pain hasn't stopped. I guess I'm ready for what's next, dealing with this. I'll be sure to let you know how it goes. Fast forward to 2026, and in an interview with Us Weekly's Getting Real with the Housewives on January 29th, Amanda revealed that, quote, between ministry training school and bachelor's, I was, for 2 years, very highly involved in a church that I consider to be a cult. It fits all the criteria for a cult. It fits all the criteria for religious abuse. That was what it was for me. That was the experience I had. Speaking on Dorit's decision to bring this to the cameras, Amanda professed that it was never a secret. I've written like 4 blogs on the topic, in addition to other articles. The cult story isn't a secret. Everyone in my audience, in my community, women in my courses have known this story forever. So when she's pulling it up like it's dirt, it's very weird to me because it's not dirt. Another piece of not dirt on Amanda that's being thrown around this season, her criminal charges and DUI arrest. According to Amanda, Erica brought this up to her during filming at Rachel Zoe's dinner party. However, this conversation wasn't aired. Perhaps it comes up later in the season, but here's what Amanda had to say about her DUI arrest almost 10 years ago, which was later expunged.
A lot has been circulating online about you, including your past. Is there any big misconception out there that you want to set the record straight on?
I mean, you want to ask me directly?
It just depends on what do you want people to know about you?
I mean, so the mugshot thing, the DUI thing was 2016, so nearly 10 years ago. It was dismissed, it was expunged. I didn't leave the parking space. I attempted to move my car out of a parking lot and get it outside a gate that was going to close. That was in downtown Tulsa. I was going to move my car out of the gate that I was afraid would close my car in. And a guy who had been hitting on me all night and flirting with me and trying to get my attention was like, you shouldn't drive, you shouldn't drive, you shouldn't drive. And I was like, I'm just trying to move my car. Anyway, I was blocked in. I couldn't move my car. I had cars on all sides of me. I couldn't get out. So I called an Uber. I stepped into the street. And as I was reaching for the door handle of the Uber, a cop tapped me on the shoulder and said, that guy says you were drinking and driving. I said, I tried to move my car. I was honest. I had nothing to hide. But I admitted that I tried to move my car. And so he arrested me.
So, despite all the negative controversy surrounding Amanda, perhaps she isn't as shady as she seems. Her DUI and cult history seem pretty explainable, and she has always been fairly open about these things publicly. But there is one more bad sign which suggests she might be worse than we realise. Fans have begun to notice that Amanda hasn't appeared on Watch What Happens Live yet, and also isn't in any of the new clips filmed for the Beverly Hills after show, which is shocking for a new housewife on a popular franchise. In another Reddit thread titled Amanda and Watch What Happens Live, one viewer said, Is it not strange that Amanda hasn't been on WWHL yet? Kyle has appeared 3 times now, and Dorit has appeared twice, while the rest of the women have all been on once so far. I understand she's controversial and unpopular with the cast, but we've had that combo before, and in those instances, the housewife has still been on WWHL. Do we think this is Amanda's doing, or the network's? And in either case, do we think that has implications for the reunion or next season? The comments on this thread are revealing, with rumours flying that Amanda either quit or was fired during filming. One user wrote, "Did anyone clock that in the Beverly Hills after show she wasn't in the updated parts? She was in what they filmed 3 months ago, then not the stuff they filmed in January." Another wrote, "There's a rumour that she quit, was fired, because she didn't film for the after show. It would definitely explain her absence on WWHL. Andy loves to have newbies on, and she'd jump at the chance to promote her shady business and be in the spotlight." While another said, "I wouldn't be surprised if she's on the outs with Bravo. She's only just started making the rounds on different media outlets promoting the show." Yet more fans saw this as a sign of something bigger about to be exposed. One wrote, "The cast came out pretty early on their feelings towards Amanda, which makes me feel something big is coming. That may be why we're not seeing her." While another said, "She realised if she sticks around Bose too long, the jig is up. I'm guessing as soon as they started questioning her business, she realised she needed to bail, ASAP." To which one user replied, "Homegirl is a scammer." In her recent interviews about the show, Amanda has also made her feelings clear about filming and the reunion, claiming that while she had fun moments filming, it wasn't fun for her, and she's really not looking forward to the reunion.
Speaking of reunion, are we excited for your first reunion? How are we
That
feeling?
sounds absolutely awful. Why do we want to sit around for 18 hours and fight with each other about things that we need to get over?
I don't know, but you're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's part of the job.
You signed up for the show.
Naively.
Now, I don't know about you, but Amanda's whole attitude in this clip feels to me that even if she were to be invited back, she wouldn't want to be. It feels like she didn't do her research, went into filming naive, and couldn't handle the heat. She clearly hated filming, hated the drama, and hated being confronted. So I suspect that one way or another, whether she quit or was fired, we definitely won't be seeing her on our screens for much longer. But what do you guys think on all of this? Do you enjoy watching Amanda? Do you think she makes a good housewife? Would you want to see her return next season? Or is it too early to tell? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. In the next video, I'll be giving you guys a detailed update on all the latest rumours on Dorit and PK's divorce. So make sure to check out our previous deep dives to refresh your memory on where we left off last April. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more reality TV drama and updates as they happen. Thanks for watching.